So, hey everybody, welcome. It's so awesome to have you guys joining us. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Carla Sawatsky, and yeah, we are here to share with you why we love Plexus, how it has changed our lives and our health. Hey Dana, and yeah, we're really excited to be with you tonight, and we hope that this can be something that can benefit you. So. I'm going to start off with my story, and then we'll just go one at a time after that and introduce the person coming next to us, for those of you who are talking. So my story begins when, after I had my first daughter, Felicity. She's 3 or almost 3 now. But after I had her, I had a really good pregnancy, no issues with that. I was super healthy, felt really good. I've always been into kind of natural health and eating well, and so I felt really good. But after having her, I started to not feel well at all. I couldn't sleep. I would go to bed at night, and it wasn't just because I had a newborn who was keeping me up, but I just could not fall asleep. And I began to realize that probably wasn't a good thing. Well, I knew it wasn't a good thing. I had digestive issues that began pretty much a couple weeks after she was born, and I just felt really all over the place, pretty unbalanced. I had a really low milk supply, and my doctor said, yeah, there's just some things that aren't right where they should be, so that's really affecting that. But then also not sleeping and stuff contributed to really low energy. So I went to my doctor and took some tests, and were able to figure out a few things. I started taking some different natural medications and stuff, and that helped a little bit, but not fully. Things began to get somewhat better, but not all the way better. And then I got pregnant with my son. And as soon as I found I was pregnant with him, everything that I'd been dealing with before came back, except even worse. I wasn't sleeping at all at night, and I couldn't even nap during the day. It didn't matter how tired I wasn't napping, and I knew that was not good with a toddler to take care of and being pregnant. Again, my energy just went way down. My digestion wasn't good. I just felt all over the place. And so I've been seeing my friend Angela post about Plexus, and I just kind of skipped over stuff because, like, oh yeah, whatever. that isn't my kind of thing. But now that I wasn't feeling well at all, I began to look into it more and saw that, whoa, maybe this is something that could help me. So I reached out to her, and I started taking the Triplex. And honestly, within a couple days, I started to feel so much better. I was sleeping through the night completely with no issues. I had a lot more energy. My digestion got so much better, like pretty quick. Not everyone who takes it starts feeling amazing right away, but I did notice that I felt so much better pretty quickly. And then after I had my son, it was nothing like after I had my daughter. I felt so much better, super healthy, and I've just continued to feel better and better. And again, with my daughter, I had really low milk supply, and with my son, that wasn't an issue. I was able to just feel really good and get the sleep and the rest that I needed, which has been amazing. So with that, I decided, this is something worth sharing about, worth telling other people about. And so that's what I started doing. And I've been doing with the Plexus business for the last year and a half. And yeah, that has been awesome. Just being able to see friends feel better and to see their lives change. And you'll hear some of their stories tonight, which is so exciting to me. I'm really excited for you guys to hear from them. And you'll hear from Angela, the one who I first saw posting about Plexus. And yeah, with the business, that's been just another added bonus. It was like really crazy to me that like the first, I haven't paid for my products more than once since I started. So that's in a year and a half. The first month's the only month I paid for it. And after that, it's been paid for, and I've had money left over to save and do other things with, which has been really neat. And the biggest thing is just seeing other people feel better. And so that's been really, really awesome. So that's just a little bit of my story, and I would love for you to hear the rest of my friends here. So I'm going to hand it over to my sister, Jennifer, and hopefully her sound will be working here and she can tell you how Plexus has helped her. So this is Jennifer.
Hey guys, yeah, so I'm Jennifer and I'm an ambassador with Plexus, and I'm going to share a little bit with you guys about how Plexus has impacted my health too. I'm going to go back kind of to the beginning a little bit. When I was 13 years old, that was the first time that I remember having any kind of pain. I was at a sleepover with some friends, we were hanging out, and I got a really bad stomachache. And at the time, I didn't think that that was anything other than just a normal stomachache. But then as I went on through my teenage years, occasionally I would get this same pain, but I didn't really think much of it. Then when I was 16, I was involved in a car accident. And after the accident, I started having intense pain in my stomach. And I would also have my stomach puff up like a balloon. It would get really, really big and be really sore. And so that was really hard and definitely uncomfortable. And then along with that, I was not sleeping very well either. I would get maybe 1 to 2 hours of sleep at night. And it would take a really long time for me to even fall asleep in the first place. I was also having fainting spells that were becoming pretty frequent, and so I had my driver's license taken away from me for almost 2 years, and that was really hard as a teenager who wanted to be out doing stuff. I didn't have the energy to do these things because of my pain and because I was so tired, and then I couldn't drive, so I couldn't go anywhere either. So that was all really frustrating, and we went to lots of different doctors. I was on different medications to try to help it, and nothing was seeming to help much. If anything, I was having side effects from the medications that I was taking. So then I started seeing Angela. There's a kind of a theme here. Angela was Plexus, and her and
Sorry, Jen, we couldn't hear you for the last little bit. Let's maybe just wait a second. I'll just mute Angela here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what part did I end off at? Let's see. Okay.
When you started talking about Angela posting.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so Angela was posting about Plexus, and so I decided I was going to give it a try, and I was not very optimistic about it, to be honest. I was kind of like excited at the possibility that it could help, so I ordered it, and about 4 weeks into taking the triplex, I started to realize that I had a lot less stomach pain. It was not near as often. My stomach wasn't ballooning up like it used to. And so these were really, really exciting and positive things in the first couple of weeks of taking it. So I continued it and started sleeping better and having more energy. And all of these things were totally new for me. I hadn't had energy and no pain in a really long time. So yeah, that's a little bit why I am so passionate about the products and why I want to share them with people, because I know that they've worked really well for me, and I want that for other people as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about my story. And now I'm going to hand it over to Sandra, and we're going to hear her story.
All right. I'm going to go back about 6 years ago. My journey began. I had 5 young kids at the time, and of course they kept me busy, but I was definitely not thriving. I have always tried to eat and make whole foods, grow a garden, do my own preserves, bake my own bread, all that kind of thing. And I thought, I mean, that was the best I could do, really. but my mood swings were horrible. I struggled a lot with sugar and carb addictions and very low energy. Of course, I just assumed that was probably because I was busy with my kids and all that being a mom entails. But when I started to get really stiff muscles just from going for a leisurely walk, I really started digging for answers. I knew it wasn't a fitness issue. I had been running 5K a day very regularly, so it wasn't that I was out of shape. So it just seemed really odd that all of a sudden going for a casual walk would put me on the couch for a couple of days. I also started having random breakouts of hives and rashes, and it just, like, too many things just weren't adding up. I would get steroid creams to put on them. They'd help for a little while, but as soon as I would stop using them, everything would flare up again. I'm a researcher, and I like to dig for answers, so I started digging, and I went from everything thyroid related to hormones and just whatever I could try and figure out what was going on with my body. And I stumbled across Trim Healthy Mama, which I know a lot of people are aware of, what that's all about. And basically, in reading through the book, I learned a lot about the importance of blood sugar balancing and how it can wreak havoc on your system when your blood sugars are out of balance. I wasn't diabetic or anything like that, but I knew I had issues. And so I started trying to lean our family into eating a little more that way. And I did notice some help with that for sure. But I still had a lot of hormone imbalances and the cravings. And I finally went to my doctor and I asked him to test me for thyroid, and he said that all came back normal, but some of my hormones were not where they should be. And since I'd been researching, I was able to opt for a natural solution for that. And it did make a huge difference with certain aspects of what I'd been dealing with, but I still had the rashes, I was still tired, and I still was dealing with a lot of cravings. Finally, I started learning a lot about cleansing and detox and gut health, partially because of my own health, but also because of my husband's health issues. It just sent me digging for answers again. And everything that I stumbled across seemed, I mean, the concepts were great as far as cleansing, but by this time we had added a 6th baby and a 7th baby, and all the recommendations were, don't do this while you're pregnant or nursing because of the toxins that get released into your system. So I thought, what do I do? I know I need a detox pretty bad, but I didn't feel that there was a way for me to do that, being pregnant and nursing. So in November, I got introduced to Plexus through a cousin of mine, and I was immediately intrigued as she was telling me about the products and how they deal with blood sugar balancing and how they cleanse and detox the system in a gentle way that is safe to use when you're pregnant and nursing. I was still nursing in November, and that was enough for me to just jump on board. I thought, okay, I need this, but I knew my husband needed it more. And so we started him on the triplex in November, and I just started with the multivitamin. And even with that, I really liked it, really enjoyed the results I saw just with better energy. But I did start the triplex shortly after. And in January, I guess it was, I got pregnant. And so I'd been on the products for a little over about a month and a half. And I have never had a pregnancy that's been this amazing. Like, I know that my body is getting rid of the toxins and the things that were going on before. I can feel it. And it's mind-boggling. Like the things that typically women know you deal with when you're pregnant, your cravings, your hormones, the nausea, all of that kind of stuff, the fatigue. I didn't have that. I had a little bit of nausea at the beginning, very, very minimal. I felt so good that I had said to my husband, I was about 12 weeks pregnant, I said, we're going to have to start telling people soon, but this seems so surreal to me. It doesn't seem that I'm even pregnant. Like, is it possible that I'm not? And so it took us a long time before we started telling people, because it just, I felt really good. So I'm 6.5 months pregnant now, and my energy is right up there. I don't need to nap. The odd day I will need to take a 10-minute nap, but that's very rare. So I've got good energy. My cravings are, I don't have sugar cravings, which is really good. Can gladly appreciate not packing on any extra pounds during pregnancy. I have no problem with that. My mood swings, I still have the odd day, of course, we all do, right? But I would say I feel balanced. I feel like a normal, balanced person, which is really unusual for going through pregnancy and dealing with 7 other kids and all that entails. A couple of other things that I have noticed. I always struggled with my hair growing. It would grow really, really slow, and it seems like it's just growing like crazy now. So I know, to me, that's an indicator that my body is absorbing the nutrition that I need better from the products. And after our last baby, I started noticing some food sensitivities as well, and to the point where I was eliminating them from our diet because I was so uncomfortable. And I've been able to see those changes come about through the healing of my gut, where I can now have those foods again without it causing any problems. So I know that this product works. We've seen amazing results in my husband's health as well. And I'm just so thankful that I was introduced to it through the lady that introduced us to it. And I would say for anybody who's skeptical, these testimonies are real. The more I connect with people, the more I read, the more I learn. It's mind-boggling. It seems too good to be true. It seems unreal. But there's so many people I've talked to personally that have such amazing stories that I know it's real. And I didn't plan to do the business side of it at all. We signed up wholesale simply because a few of us wanted the products, to be able to use the products, so it was the best price. And like you, Carla, we haven't paid for our products since the first month. It's very easy to share when you see something working. And we've been very blessed to have other people jump on board and see amazing results as well. And it's just all around, it's been a blessing in our lives. And yeah, I guess I could go on, but it's not my, I don't have the whole platform here. There's other people who need to share, and we want to hear their stories too, but that's my story in a nutshell. So I'm going to introduce Barb, and she can tell you her story.
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Barb Turin, and our family has struggled a lot with food issues. My daughter especially, Olivia, has had 4 different foods ever since she was newborn that she has cried with stomach aches, bathroom problems. Even when I was breastfeeding, I couldn't even eat any dairy without her having problems. As she was weaned at a year old, we found she also had problems with wheat and soy and egg. She was so severe that there was times I left her with a babysitter that she even had problems with cross-contamination from sitting at a table with other children eating. We have not been able to do play dates with her. We can't go to potlucks at church without running into issues with cross-contamination and different things. And birthday parties for her were non-existent. We couldn't do that either. So our lives were pretty reclusive because of that. And that was stressful for me. But I think the stress was not just caused by that. I just was having a lot of issues with anxiety and stress. And I had very extreme fatigue, where I remember at one point I was trying to seed a very small patch of grass before I was pregnant with Olivia, and ended up laying on the couch for 3 days trying to recover from seeding one small patch of grass. So something was seriously wrong, and I had blood sugar crashes when I was pregnant with her, and just whenever I'd eat too many carbs, I just would not feel good at all. And I was starting to feel old. I was starting to have joint pain and a lot of soreness in my limbs. And I also have stomach issues with dairy and a few other things as well. And so when I had been doing research ever since Olivia was little, I just wasn't willing to accept the medical community's diagnosis that there was nothing that could be done about food issues, stomach issues. So in researching about natural health, I found lots of things that I was trying to work on and trying to help cure my candida, and wasn't really having a lot of success. I started taking probiotics. I used fermented kombucha, and just really wasn't seeing any healing happening very quickly, and was kind of discouraged. And then I heard about Plexus on Facebook from Carla and a few others, and I started researching it and found that it lined up with the research I'd done already and made a lot of sense, and I was really excited. I did not want to do a business either. I felt like I was busy enough and did not have any extra energy for anything else. But within 3 to 6 months, we started to see results after joining for the wholesale prices, and we started February of last year, and by fall, Olivia is able to eat soy and eggs. And then by Christmas, we were testing dairy and wheat with Olivia. She has been to birthday parties. She has just got back from camp. She was able to enjoy camp for the first time, she and her brother. And she's enrolled in 2nd grade at a Christian school, where last year I had to homeschool her because I was too worried about cross-contamination issues in the classroom. So, and myself, I've seen a lot of good results too. I was just at camp cooking in the kitchen last week, and we were going nonstop, well, not nonstop, with about an hour break from 7 in the morning till 10 at night, cooking and cleaning all day long. And I had so much energy. I felt like the Energizer Bunny. And even the other ladies, we were short-staffed, and the other ladies were asking, wow, where do you get all your energy from? But she kind of knew. I'd already told her a little bit about Plexus. And I was so encouraged this last school year. Normally during the school year, there's 3 or 4 nasty viruses that run through school, stomach viruses and whatnot. And out of the 6 people in my family, the 3 people, my daughter, my son, and myself, that are on Plexus, we did not get, out of 4 times that a serious illness went through the house with people in bed for days, we only got 1 of them, and only very mildly. And it was very nice not to have to clean up stomach flu after kids. It was nice to skip all those nasty school viruses as they went around. My skin is cleared up a lot. I'm not reacting to food nearly as much as I used to. I'm still in much more, not nearly as far along as Olivia, and some people have said, well, maybe she just grew out of it, but I wasn't able to eat bacon or cashews for the last couple years, and in the last 3 months, or 6 months, I've been able to eat bacon and cashews the last 3 months. So I've outgrown some of my issues too. So, and I don't get achy muscles and joints anymore. So between that and having a lot more energy, and not that I have no stress in my life, but things don't affect me quite nearly as much as they used to. But between having more energy and no more achy joints and muscles, I honestly feel at least 10 years younger. And I'm really excited for the coming year. I can't wait to see how much better we're going to be next year. So I'm going to hand it over to Angela.
Hello. Thanks for sharing your stories. Those are all interesting to hear. So I heard about Plexus from my friends Andrew and Melissa Siebert, and when I first started seeing about it, I was kind of like, oh yeah, another one of those things that, you know, they say is the best, and I sort of ignored it for a while, and then as Andrew kept sharing stories, I started thinking, you know, if these stories are true, which I knew Andrew would only share true stories, I thought, I need this product because my body was in really rough shape. We'd had a really stressful year, and I just sort of felt like I was barely surviving. I wasn't really enjoying life or thriving. I was sort of dragging myself out of bed and taking care of our 3 little kids, and I honestly felt like I'm on the verge of a breakdown. Like, I don't know how long my body's going to go like this. So one day it was like I sort of realized, like, man, I need this product. So I started with just the pink drink, and probably about 2 weeks in, I noticed one day that I wasn't craving sugar. I went to the grocery store, and usually I had to leave with either a chocolate bar or like a croissant or something sweet. I had to get a treat every time I went. And I was driving to the grocery store, and I was like, what kind of treat am I going to get today? And as I was going through my regular options in my mind, I thought, I don't feel like eating any of those. And that was like an unreal moment for me, because sugar had like controlled me for a long time. So that was one of the first big things I noticed with pink drink was my sugar cravings were finally under control. I felt like the sleep I did get was really deep and really restful. And even though I was up in the night with babies,